decided to do a live video instead of just recording a video. Not sure why. It was just, honestly, as I was setting it up, YouTube warned me that there may not be the best connection. But here we are, and everything looks fine. I am having an interesting day here at work. It's funny that nothing at work has gotten under my skin. Like most times when I tell you I'm having issues at work, it's because there are external influences that are giving me issues at work. No, I don't want to make it sound like my wife upsets me, because she doesn't. She's a wonderful woman. But I did a video about this a couple of months ago, where when my wife comes to me with a problem, I am looking for solutions to that problem. I just want to resolve the problem, you know? But sometimes my wife just wants to vent. She just wants to get it out, and she wants me to hear her. And I like to think that I do. I like to think that I'm hearing her. But whoa, there we go. She isn't looking necessarily for resolutions. To me, I would like to think that communication is key. My wife calls and she says, I have an issue with something. My mind immediately goes into resolution mode. What can I do to fix this? Just so we're not, playing around with metaphors or whatnot, here's the issue. In late May, Kari came to us and said, you mind if my girlfriend comes, stays with us for a couple of days? It's not like she needed a place to stay or there was trouble, just to visit. And the last time we did this, he said 10 days. She ended up staying about 2 weeks. No big deal. So when asked again, he said, yeah, it'll be about 10 days. We were very clear on what the restrictions were. Not that there were restrictions, but it was like, hey, money's kind of tight. I don't know what's going on with money right now. So we probably won't have a whole lot of extra. So she'll probably, especially because he's vegetarian. It's like, so she can't even enjoy a hamburger. Wow. And so you'll probably want to do something to provide your own food. So he said, okay, that's fine. So a couple of days before she came, he came to me and he was like, hey, she'll be here in a couple of days. Is that still cool? Sure is. That's fucking cool. Come on in. And 2 days later, she was here. That was, I want to say, early first week of June. Here we are in the 4th week of June. And she's still here. Granted, that's not an issue for me, because I'm happy to see my son happy. I'm happy that he's in like this serious, committed relationship. It's just like, it's really working out for him. And we foster this atmosphere of, it's not my house, it's our house. And for me to say that it's our house, it's unfair of me to say, hey, remember that one time you gave me all your money so we could pay bills and rent, so we could keep this place afloat? Well, now I want to inflict some rules on you. Now you can't do this here. Now you can't do that here. It's just as much his as it is mine. So I try to give him that leeway and flexibility, especially because, and maybe this has something to do with me as a father, because my father did the same thing for me. What's up? He never said this is our house, but he did let me have friends stay there a couple of times. Offhand, I had Janelle stayed with me for a while. Then my friend Dominique moved in, and they were there at the same time, and he was okay with it. I don't know why, but I remember thinking, that's super cool. That's the way I would want to be with my son. Now, I like to think that I've taken it a step further, because this house is as much Kari's house today as mine. So his girlfriend will always be welcome in our home. Stay as long as you like. But what I didn't take into account is that it's a wear and tear on resources for Asia. See, we got to ride around the parking lot again. My air is not working right. I didn't take that into account because Asia is the one who makes sure that there's tissue for everybody and paper towel for everybody, and then meals get cooked. And, we went out of our way to make sure that there were some meals where Asia could just not add the meat so that Sam could also eat, which was very nice of her. And she did that accounting for 10 days to 2 weeks. The problem with that is it's been about a month. And what's happening now is she's going to be here for at least another week. Now we are well informed of that. But it's a lot more people using tissue. It's a lot more people using resources in the house. And it's making Asia's job a little difficult. Especially when they go and she'll clean up the kitchen, because she's at a point now where she's cleaning the kitchen 3 or 4 times a day. And sometimes she's not even cooking that day. It's because Kari and Sam were cooking. So she's in there doing it more often. So she calls me and she's like, hey, this is happening a lot. I don't want to have to clean up all the time. Or at the very least, have somebody say, oh, I appreciate that you're doing this, because we were all taken for granted that Asia would take care of it. In my mind, that was a compliment, because yeah, Asia's going to take care of it. That was a compliment to her, saying we know that there's a lot that goes into this, but you got it. So she wanted a little more help in that area. She wanted to feel appreciated. So I went to Kari and deliberately said, hey, the next time you're in the kitchen, straighten up a bit. Try not to make such a mess. And if you do, clean it up a little bit. And he was like, hey, absolutely. Communication is key. I'm glad that we were able to have this talk and we were good. But apparently I robbed Asia of the opportunity to do that herself. And I felt bad about it. But at the same time, the issue has been resolved. The next time Kari goes in there and all the dishes are done, and he uses 2 plates and 2 bowls and 2 forks and 2 spoons and 2 glasses, making something and a skillet or whatever, he'll just rinse it off. He'll wash it out and put it away himself. And that's cool. But I don't think it's very much that that's not what she wanted. That's not how she wanted it. So, I don't know. I don't know how that goes. I just want everything to go smoothly. I want the day-to-day operations in my home to operate. My soda's all warm now. So, I like to think we found resolution there. It's so funny because Asia and I talk about ourselves and our marriage like we are the measuring stick for all relationships. And we are, I think. I really do think we are. But for that to be the case, we seem to be having these very small lapses in communication. We're not seeing eye to eye on everything these days. And I don't know if that's because there are little things that we're taking for granted. I don't know if there are things not being said and like the space in between us is filling up with things not said. But I want to work on that. And I think it's because we want to work on it and because we're aware, because we're talking about it, that we still set a standard for marriage and relationships. Because, and this is me and my shortcomings and my failures, and I get that. If my wife is unhappy, then I immediately attribute that to she's unhappy with me. She's unhappy with the way things are going. She's unhappy with the marriage. What can I do? Maybe she's just pissed off. But my insecurities kick in and I go, oh my God, I can't believe Asia's not happy. What am I doing wrong? Sometimes it's not me, I'm learning that. But an argument could be made for we seem to care about each other too much. We just want everybody to be happy, even if that means one of us is miserable in the process. And I say we shouldn't have to be miserable. There should be no room for compromise. If there's something I want, I should be able to say that. If there's something you want, you should be able to say that reasonably. So I don't subscribe to that, but I need to, as a person, understand that when somebody's unhappy, doesn't mean they're unhappy across the board. So I'm working on that. That was really good. Look, my wife would be proud. I'm using a napkin. I don't always do that. I like to think I'm a good husband, that I'm a good father. I just want everybody to have all the things that they want and they need, I'm doing my best to look out for everybody. And sometimes that can be hard. Sometimes I don't always get it right. I'm looking at myself, has nothing to do with anything. It's like if Austin Aries' father was a cop. That's what I look like. Or a younger Uncle Phil. I've heard that one before. Like I'm looking at my hairline here, like I'm balding. And if you can see this, you see all of this here? This is thinning, while this on the sides remain thicker. So, while as a person who is bald 90% of the time, I am aware of the fact that the top of my head is balding. I need to stop being lazy and finally do something about that. This too, like I don't want, it's summertime and it's hot. I don't want any of this. It's time to take care of that, and I probably will. What else is happening in my life before I go? I don't want to make this super long. I recently had a conversation with my sister. Hi, Vanessa. And I don't want to say we got into it, but we tend to disagree when it comes to her relationship. See, a couple of years ago, I tried to have a serious talk with her because I felt like her boyfriend at the time, he's a fiance now, but her boyfriend at the time, I didn't feel as though was the best person he could be. And I warned her that it's like, I don't see things getting better for you. It's only going to get worse. And we had a big falling out over that. And, and I get that. I do. Love make you do the stupid. And she chose to side with her husband, well, her boyfriend, now fiance. And that was probably a wise response. But now we fast forward a couple of years later, and while I would make the argument that things have gotten worse, there's no denying that things haven't gotten better. So, that being the case, you're either going to be miserable with him or miserable without him. And I just want my sister to be happy. That's it. I'm very particular on who I call family. I'm very touchy on who I let into my life. And I just want this girl to be happy. She's a wonderful woman with a wonderful heart, and I just want her to have all the things she wants. And it hurts me to see her crushed like this. So I will continue to reach out. I'll continue to do what I think I can do to ease her mind and to help her make whatever decision is best for her. But at the end of the day, that's what this is going to be. She needs to make a choice and stick with it. Like, while I'm the measuring stick for marriage, I still have a long way to go for my marriage to be a perfect marriage. But there are some things that you never compromise, like decency, courtesy, respect, communication, trust. Like, I listen to my wife in all things, and in short, like, I think that could be our problem sometimes, is I listen too much. And I'm so worried about making sure that I respect her opinions and I respect her feelings that I don't always say the things that I feel like I need to say. But the prerequisite for that is still trust, communication. You know, I trust my wife and I talk to my wife, and there will never be a time where my wife feels like I disrespect her or I don't want to hear her out, because when my wife calls, the world stops. It don't matter what job I'm at. Like, before this job was VF Outlet, kind of, you know, and we worked together. But if she needed to talk, we would go off to the side. Hey, what's going on? What's happening? You okay? And we would talk, because that's important. Before that was, I guess the only real job there was DSP. And if she called, I absolutely stopped what I was doing so we could have a conversation. Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Because I'm her husband and she deserves to be heard. Her opinions and her thoughts and her feelings will always have an audience with me, even if I don't agree with them. That's what husbands do. And then I have to look for a solution, because that's what husbands do. And I don't think that my sister is getting the same courtesy from her fiance, and that bothers me. Me as a man, me as her brother, me as a husband, that bothers me. But at the end of the day, I just want her to be happy. So if this is what you do and this is what makes you happy, who am I to complain? Crap. You know, there's no need to go a real long time with this. I haven't watched Asia's video as of yet. It's about 30 minutes long. That's a considerable chunk of time for me to invest in watching her video, but I probably will, because I like to keep up with my wife's inner workings. And I'll probably come back tonight and do a video, because again, live videos don't count as my video. Like, there should be a daily vlog. I think that's important. But that's it for me. I'm not going to stay here too much longer. We'll see where the day takes us, I guess. Would you like to stop streaming? Yes. Yes, I would. Push the